I think it's deliberate on Peter Jackson's part that the first movie has a sort of comic lightness to it, and slowly the darkness descends because he's driving towards the Battle of the Five Armies, which, when you're depicting war in that way, it has to have gravity, otherwise it trivializes that. So I just followed Peter's lead in terms of that pathway and that arc of the character, but it's also very much there in the writing of Tolkien. The one thing that became a big experiment between myself and Peter was the level to which Thorin succumbs to the dragon sickness. So I was very excited to see it finally realised. It was one of the things that I asked Peter quite near the end, is that I wanted to do as much of that fight as I could myself without exchanging for a stunt double, and he let me do it. And 98% of my work is in the film, and then there's a scale double that's also there. I really wanted to know what it felt like to be inside Thorin's shoes, but there were moments when I regretted asking because it was so physically exhausting, and Pete really pushed me to the point of being on my knees, but I think he wanted to show just how hard it was in that last part of the story. I think certainly having the discipline to work at that level. When you do theatre, you have to have a physical discipline because you can't say to an audience, I'm sorry, I'm tired tonight, you're not going to get the full show. Everyone's paid their money. Vocally, the ability to train my voice and do things with it that I wanted to do for Thorin. I wanted to change his voice a little bit. The imaginative landscape that you have to use in theatre. But also my knowledge of certain Shakespearean characters, which were very useful for Thorin. I used little bits of Henry V, Richard III, and Macbeth. They all just fed into the same pot. I think, with great literature, what happens is you pour yourself into a book, and then you turn the final page, and it just says the end. And it's a moment as an avid reader that you kind of dread because you feel like you're never going to be with these characters again, but unfortunately it does have to end, and we do have to wrap up the story, and hopefully what it will do is hook people to go back and revisit the Fellowship of the Ring and the Rings trilogy, and then maybe it will be a cyclical thing, so it's never really over.